I'm Tim, welcome to Watch You Want, and thanks for logging on. Today we're looking at the Jaeger-LeCoultre Reverso Grande Taille, 42mm lug-to-lug by 26mm wide in polished stainless steel. This Jaeger-LeCoultre Reverso can be purchased on our website, watchyouwant.com, and if you like these videos, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Watch You Want Inc. Now on my wrist, 6 1/3 inches, 16 centimeters in circumference. This is the classic 1991 60th anniversary to present Grande Taille case. It's just under 10 millimeters thick, about 9.5 millimeters, and while it is 48 millimeters lug to lug, don't think of this as a 48 millimeter watch, and for that matter, although it's 28 millimeters wide, don't think of it as a 28 millimeter watch. I would say that if you wanted to describe how this really wears, it wears like a nice 40 millimeter dress watch. The Grande Taille was launched in 1991 to celebrate the 60th anniversary of the Reverso, and it came out at a time when JLC was really trying to re-establish itself as a credible manufacturer after the quartz crisis. It had been ground down considerably, and at that time there were even thoughts of just folding the old manufacturer and restarting with the trademarks and copyrights. So this was something of a comeback watch. Now, the original Reverso of 1931 had a case that was 38 millimeters lug to lug, so even smaller than this, it was borderline too small for a modern day man. The nice thing about the Grande Taille is that it's a perfect middle ground with enough size and substance that you really feel it as a satisfying premium piece of workmanship on your wrist, but it doesn't overwhelm and it can be worn on a vast array of wrist sizes. Again, my wrist is 16 centimeters in circumference, but this plays perfectly, and on this unique multi-link chain, it gives the Reverso a completely different appearance, sportier and more versatile, both in terms of the dress you can wear it with and where you can wear it. This is an outstanding accessory that is rarely seen. I would say that when you look at Reverso watches, other than the Squadras, more than 9 times out of 10, maybe 95 times out of 100, you're going to see them on a strap because that was the classical combination. The bracelet adds real value because visually it extends the span of the classical Reverso case, and because a lot of modern upscale watches have taken after Rolex and donned bracelets for a sportier look, it's also a more contemporary look because today, again, because of the influence of Rolex, we tend to think of watches in terms of metal cases and metal bracelets, and this really completes the Reverso look, allowing it to play in that paradigm. So the bracelet feels fantastic. You may wonder, how does a Reverso feel without a strap? And because of this ultra high quality multi-link setup, it really is as supple as leather, maybe more so. The degrees of flexibility are superior to any kind of alligator leather I've ever encountered. Unless you want to go with a really soft, delicate, and short-lived calfskin, full calfskin, this is about as good as it gets in terms of flexibility and comfort. Now, JLC being a true manufacturer, you know they make the movement. What you should also know is that they also build the case, the bracelet, and the clasp. So everything here was designed to work together to a uniform standard. You can see it as a double deployant clasp of exceptional quality. Now, it's friction fit, so you probably don't want to go, I would say, parachuting or bungee jumping with this on your wrist, but it does give solid security when closed, and as you can see, when it has been closed, it's almost completely seamless with just a subtle parting point to give you your visual cue, and from the side, almost completely zero profile for an elegant, streamlined look. Now, the case is the classic 1984 to present Reverso, which is to say, it is the water-resistant Reverso. Before 1984, they had no water resistance, dust and moisture only. After 1984, a 50-piece case, far more complex, a little bit more resilient. Still, you don't want to take this one bathing. But what it does allow you that the previous cases didn't is to pivot the Reverso at any point in its travel. Previously, it was very mechanical, even a little bit crude. The historic Reverso would only pivot at the end of its travel, and then only when you got it into its selection notch where it could move. So it almost felt a little bit crude. This is much nicer. As ever, the classic Art Deco styling elements are present in force. Rectilinear lines, you can see the perpendicular array of the rectangular tops running horizontally, recapitulated in the gadroons, the carved notches along the bottom and top of the case, and then the vertical lines of the bracelet flowing into the case shoulders. Beautiful, classic, evocative of the 1930s. It was originally born in 1931 as a solution to help British polo players in India avoid smashing the crystals of their watches, and to this day the reversible watch remains a distinctive trademark of the manufacturer Jaeger-LeCoultre. The idea at the time was that you could present this metal case side to the mallets and avoid smashing your crystal, and then just as easily flip the watch again to permit use as a time-telling device. Today, it's a distinctive accessory. When it's turned around, it really becomes a mysterious object on your wrist, almost like an artistic bracelet, a very kind of interpretive treatment of metal that offers a second canvas, if you like, to have a personalized inscription, a dedication, an insignia, a family coat of arms, or you can just leave it blank and leave your friends wondering what on earth you're wearing until you flip it around and reveal the trick. The great thing about the Reverso is it could be anything you want it to be. Whether you want to keep it stock or personalize it, it's your option entirely. It'll always have that same crisp action thanks to the inherent quality of the finish. But the quality of the finish is more than just case and bracelet. It also goes into the dial and the movement. Now the dial is classic. You have these broadsword hands, heat blued in this case, which is to say oxidized until the metal turns blue, not chemically dyed, not painted. That's your splash of color. And there are two separate segments of this dial, principal segments. There's the hour track, using the classical Reverso Arabic numerals, decidedly more Art Deco than the stick indices. This has become something of a convention for Reversos. Although stick indices still exist, and they did exist during the 30s, if you want the full-blown Art Deco treatment, this is the dial you want. Silvered, it has a contrast between the inner dial and the outer dial. Now, the inner dial is segmented and partitioned from the outer by this modified railroad track, and you can see this little inner dial chapter ring, which joins with the subseconds at 6 o'clock. And in person, I can't really get it to play in the light box here, but maybe there you can see it a little bit. They do reflect light with differing degrees of intensity, so it doesn't read as one large undifferentiated silver mass. Rather, it has almost a split brightness, center being brighter and the hour track being just a little bit more muted. A gorgeous composition. It covers the caliber 822 JLC in-house, shaped and sized to fit the case. That was another debut of the 60th anniversary Reverso case in 1991. The Grande Taille had its own movement, the 822. Again, because JLC designs the case and they design the movement was designed specifically for this case. Other watchmakers would have simply taken a small round movement, stuck it in, and used crude case clamps to make it fit, not JLC. What you also get is all of their own in-house watchmaking and engineering. 134 parts, 21 jewels. It beats at a stately 3 Hz, so 21,600 vibrations per hour, and it has a 45-hour power reserve. Now, when you approach the end of that power reserve, you're going to want to wind it. And I want to say that the tactile sensation, as well as the auditory detents of the winding system, are an absolute pleasure. This is a system that was self-consciously designed to wind nicely, to make that daily interaction with your watch a pleasure, and it truly is. Everything about this watch is classical. Everything about this watch leaves very little to be desired. If you want something like the definitive Reverso, this Grande Taille in stainless steel is an outstanding example. And if you want a Reverso that's just a little bit different while preserving that definitive aesthetic, you get this bracelet. Multi-link, almost like beads of rice. It's incredibly silky on the skin, and it takes the aesthetic experience of the Reverso and adds ergonomic excellence. You can see, and if you like it, you can purchase this Reverso Grande Taille in stainless steel on our website, watchyouwant.com.